Well, well, well. All right, so let's see what we got here. Capitalism is like, okay, hear me out. What if instead of living in a nice, safe world where everybody's basic needs are met, we live in a bad, dangerous world where most people can barely feed themselves, but two people have like 500 yachts? Yeah, I mean that's how it plays out a lot of times, unfortunately. Um, okay, yeah, I don't know if that's real. It's a lot of garbage. Let's see. The problem with our food system, 5.99. Well, yeah, I mean, look, it is cheaper to produce junk food, quote unquote, and although you wonder how that's fixed, but you always hear that complaints that especially in like minority neighborhoods, how they'll struggle to have like clean food, but there's junk food in liquor stores and stuff like that, like all over the place. So you do wonder if, yeah, I mean, do they just want you? Is it McDonald's is able to put more money into the system so they're able to, you know, they're able to get themselves into position? I mean, that's very possible, right? I mean, it's just easier for them than it is for I don't know, than it is for like a fruit company or something to find a place to outlet, or like a Whole Foods to sell stuff. So they just decide like, oh, like McDonald's gets the inside track. I mean, I don't know how that's possible. I would still think that, Whole Foods, especially now like being part of Amazon, that they would have the ability to go out and like get themselves into any neighborhood that they want. And then you wonder, is there targeting involved? But yeah, I mean, you've heard this with like, oh yeah, there's a liquor store in every corner, but where's the clean grocery stores, right? You've heard this over and over. Where I live, you have a balance of whatever. I mean, you have your Whole Foods, you have your quote unquote high end markets, right? Your more expensive like mini markets, and then you have your Trader Joe's, and then you still have your Shop Rights and your Stop and Shops and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely think there's something to that. There's absolutely something to that. All right, let's see. So we always hear the stock market is manipulated. Da, 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 da. We don't have to flee. Let's see what he's saying.
By a combination of the stock exchanges, the big Wall Street banks, and high frequency traders.
Who are the victims?
Everybody who has an investment in the stock market.
Michael Lewis isn't talking about the stock market that you see on television every day. That ceased to be the center of U.S. financial activity years ago and exists today mostly as a photo op. This is the stock market that Lewis is talking about, the one where most of the trades take place now, inside hundreds of thousands of these black boxes located at more than 60 public and private exchanges, where billions of dollars in stock change hands every day with little or no public documentation. Trades are being made by thousands of robot computers programmed to buy and sell every stock on the market at speeds 100 times faster than you can blink an eye. A system so complex, it's all but invisible.
Right, I'm seeing that it looks like there's an issue. So I can see on my phone here. It doesn't look like the stream is coming through for some reason. So, all right, I'll have to figure this out. I'm gonna have to stop the stream and figure out why this is not it's not picking up anything actually in the window for some reason. This is very odd. Yeah. Oh, there we go. All right. All right. Well, when we're live, we're live. All right. This is high frequency trading. So this is basically what I've seen this before. I've seen this whole episode. This is basically just showing you from years ago where they have these electronic exchanges that are actually not at Wall Street. They're located in New Jersey, and you have these entities that build these data centers to be super close to them so that they can get that millisecond trade. So basically, if you and your family were going to buy a stock and you all put in your trade, what'll happen is they will pick up on the movement of the market as your trade is being put in, and then they'll automatically buy whatever it is that you're buying, so that the price goes up as you're buying it, and you're not getting it at the price that you first saw it. You're going to have to pay a margin, right? Like a margin of like maybe a penny, or maybe even sometimes less than that. But if you multiply that over thousands of trades over many months, or even more than thousands of trades, sometimes a day, that marginal trade difference becomes a profit on itself. Okay, so basically, and it looks like this is telling me OBS failed. All right, I hope this is still connected. But basically, let's just say that you have an investment, and or you have an investment fund, I should say, and in that investment fund, they're taking in like I don't know, they take in like 1,000 1,000 different people's accounts, right, from like 401ks from different businesses, and they take that money and they pool it. Now that money gets put into a fund, and then they are going to take that money and they're going to put it into the market, right, as part of their, they're going to go out and buy let's say they go out and buy, I don't know, McDonald's stock, right? With it, or whatever stock. Let's say McDonald's. And let's say McDonald's is trading at $10 when they're going to make their purchase, right? Now they're not violating fiduciary responsibility, because they're going through an analysis. They think McDonald's stock is undervalued. They make the decision to buy it. So they go in and they put in their trades. Now, what their friends and maybe even people at their own fund are able to do is they're going to see the movement, okay, along with everybody else who's doing this high frequency trading. They see the movement of 10,000 shares of McDonald's being purchased, right? Because there's lots of accounts that go into these funds, from 401ks, from university endowments, et cetera, right? So they see 10,000 trades at 9, at 10:30 a.m. for $10, at $10 a pop, to buy McDonald's. Well, automatically, these other people who are doing the high frequency trade, they will instantly, like in less than a millisecond, they will buy McDonald's at $10, right? And you're part of this larger pool. You then get McDonald's at, I don't know, let's say $10 and $10 and a cent, or $10 in basis points. Then they flip it back to you for that amount. Okay? So they become the entity that is selling you the stock. And because of that marginal difference, you say, well, it's just parts of a penny, right? Right, but you multiply that. It's a way to make money without actually understanding the market. You're not reacting, and this is not really even market. This is capitalism, but it's not markets. Okay? Now this is not new. This was discovered a long time ago. I think this 60 Minutes episode, I believe this might have come out like 15 years ago, maybe even longer than that. But the concept is good to know, because It's something that shows you that markets and capitalism are not the same. In capitalism, the idea that a business can legally take money and then knowingly be involved in these trades, that's capitalism. But the market would be just reacting normally to the stocks, right? Like, oh, okay, so this there's a value add for McDonald's for some reason. There's a decision to buy their stock, and we buy their stock. But what's happening is this manipulation screws the people because McDonald's isn't really worth that price that they're flipping it back to you. You're just getting flipped it back because they have picked up on the group buying the stock. So now they're coming in as X hedge fund or X whatever fund. They purchase the stock, flip it back to you. They made their profit. They didn't do any analysis of why McDonald's is worth more money or anything like that. They just wait for you to make a move. And then when you're making your move, they make a faster move so that they can be the ones selling you back what you need. Like, oh, I'm going to go get a drink of water, right? Think of it this way to really simplify it. Imagine if every time you went to the bathroom in your own house, they they knew that you were going to the bathroom. So they broke into your house, okay? Got into your bathroom, took the toilet paper, and then when you were already on the toilet, decided, "Hey, you need toilet paper?" Or every time you go to get a drink of water, they went in and put some device on the pipes so that they had the water supply. And you pulled the lever and now, or you twisted the knob, and now you're not getting any water. So you have to go to them to get a little bit of water. And let's say they just charge you like, yeah, half a penny or a penny just to get a couple drops. You might live with that. You might even not even realize that margin is happening. This is no different than what the mafia was doing in New York, okay? What Michael Franchese was doing in New York when he was making money on the margin of gas tax that they weren't paying back to the government. It's a very similar concept. You just live on the margin. You make money on the margins, okay? And you're doing it because you are able to get the speed. Now, this is not new. I can't speak to how much or whatever's happening today. I can guarantee you there are schemes going on. I mean, the first scheme is the fact that a lot of institutional money comes from public money. It comes from student loans, it comes from 401ks. There aren't a ton of pensions, but they're there. It comes from health insurance companies, comes from car insurance companies, it comes from, everything that you're forced to buy goes into these huge financial entities, and then they invest that money. Okay? They invest it. They buy all kinds of stuff. They always have an investment wing. So you realize that the government is not regulating life for your safety and for your benefit. But the government is actually doing is they are making sure that money goes to the institutions that their friends, their donors, their handlers are involved with. And then that money, like a Ponzi scheme, is now being managed by people who are only going to or only out to benefit themselves. You're not going to gain anything from it. And they have an infinite flow because it's guaranteed to come from you. You can't drive your car without car insurance. I mean, you can, you're 100% liable, you'll get in trouble, right? You need some kind of health insurance. Most people need student loans to go to school. I guess it's not guaranteed, but most people do. These are great schemes to pool money together to institutionally invest. That money's not going to your cousin, the stockbroker down the street. The money is going to large entities. And then they make fees for managing the money. And they can use that money to play in the market. Yes, this is what capitalism is. Capitalism is the extraction of money from the market. It's not, it's an extreme abuse of the market. Now, it does work for some people sometimes, in the sense that sometimes people are able to get their hands on money, use that money to build a business, and then once they have that business going, it continues to grow and they make money. That's very possible. It has happened for a lot of people, but it doesn't work for the majority. And it's going to work for less and less people as we continue to move forward. Now, I was in what I would think um it was like a cryptic uh X spaces. And I've seen a lot of these. There are a lot of Jerry Falwells out there, folks. There are a lot of guys who love to get on X and they love to talk and they love to preach in these X spaces. They don't, I don't know, they have an echo chamber. They say they don't want one, but they do. And they spend a lot of time on these X spaces just fucking talking nonsense. Speaking in tongues and shit. I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I really don't. Like they're like, oh, the thing is coming. The thing, oh, the day, the reckoning. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Speaking in fucking tongues. I don't know what the hell you're saying. Oh, pay attention to the water. I had somebody say that. And well, watch the day. Why don't you just say what it is? Okay? Why don't you just say what it is? Instead of you speaking in tongues and fucking jibber jabbering around it with the preambles, just say what the fuck it is. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, oh, the day you count the days, and when it happens, oh, what the fuck does that mean? What are you saying? Just say, hey, assholes, in 20 days, the water's going to be fucked. Why don't you just say that? I am so tired of all these fucking phony soothsayers on X who get on here and they don't know anything. They don't know anything about politics, history, or economics. And they're on here talking about nonsense. And trust me, I believe in a lot of esoteric. Okay? I believe in energy. I believe in faith. I'm not saying that's nonsense, but I'm saying a lot of people love to come on here and instead of putting their fucking finger on something, they just want to talk and sound like, oh, I'm predicting this thing. I'm predicting. Why don't you predict the lottery then, asshole? And share it with the fucking Spaces group. Way too many Nostradamuses in here. All these Jerry Falwells telling me about believe in this and all this and that. And then I'm in the same space. I'm like, all right, you guys are out there, but that's good because that means you're open minded. And then what do they say? Trump passed legislation. Trump passed legislation that's gonna help fix the fix the housing market for young people because now young people are going to get access. They're going to get access to housing. Really? They are? Yeah. They're going to get access to housing. You know how they're going to do it? You know how they're going to get access to housing? They're going to get access to housing. Uh, a new executive order declaring that there has to be, mortgage bonds. I'm like, okay, so we're going to help the people that are sitting there at the tippy top struggling. That's the thing. That's the thing that's so like perfect and wonderful. Say, OBS Studio is either garbage or my internet sucks. I can't tell the difference. I can't tell because it's kicking in and out, and it's really annoying me. But anyway, yeah, this is like weird. I'm just gonna literally mute my system noise because it keeps popping up. But yeah, I'm like, you guys are so open-minded to problems that are happening in the world. But then you think that Trump buying these mortgage bonds is really for you? Come on, guys. Come on. I mean, look, I want to believe in Trump as much as anybody, all right? I want to root for the president. I want to root for Ilya Alman. I want to root for AOC, okay? If AOC said, listen, you hit your knees right now, you beg me, and I promise you, I will do everything you've ever wanted me to do. I will I will pass a resolution, or I'll propose a resolution to end any war in Venezuela. I will look at congressional budget office's numbers for how much we're spending on foreign aid, and like how much of that is actually being used to hurt people. I'll find out how we can actually send real aid to real people overseas that need it. I'll do all kinds of stuff. I will push legislation to invest in infrastructure, but you just got to say it real nice. You got to say please. I'll drop to my knees today. I'll say please, Miss AOC. Please, I'm so sorry. I don't mean any disrespect, Miss AOC. Please, okay? I want to believe. I want to believe in the president. I want to believe in the mayor of New York. I want to believe in all these people. The governor of New Jersey. Please, please. But here's the problem, okay? I think you got to give everybody a shot, right? Just to be fair. But when they show you over and over that they're not doing anything to help, I don't know. How many times? Fool me once, right? It's not fool me 6,000 times. That's not the way the saying goes. The president has yet to show me that he is willing to execute anything that he talked about without violating somebody's rights. Well, he's just not willing to do it. I mean, I know he said he's got to deport people, and he's doing that. But he's doing it in a way that is reckless, because his ICE, even if he wants to say, and I think it's very fair for him and Tom Homan to come out and say, hey, I don't want to be on the streets. Tell the police in every one of these states, all the governors, to just work with us, and we won't patrol the streets at all. We will only go after people who are in jail. We will go after people with warrants, and that's it. So we're not looking for people who just overstayed their visa. We will only go after people who have committed a crime and there's a warrant out for the arrest, or they're already in custody. And if you propose that, I would say that's fair, because the Chinese would not allow me to come to their country illegally. The India would not allow me to go to their country illegally. North Korea would murder me if I came to their country illegally. The punishment is death. So if you go to these countries illegally, they won't allow it. They'll put you in jail, okay? And they'll deport me. So if the president says we have to have the same policies as India, China, North Korea when it comes to illegal immigration, I would say that's fine. But you have to make the case to the American people, especially after seeing the reaction to all that's happened. You have to make that case and focus on the U.S. instead of focusing on Venezuela, Iran, Israel. Focus on America and say, hey, the reason that ICE is on the streets is because we're not getting good cooperation. If that's going to be your excuse, and then watch how quickly the governors of these states will say, no, we're cooperating. It's his fault. And then no matter how you play it out, you will have less of this nonsense on the streets. But ICE can't be on the streets. They are not equipped to deal with citizens. They are not police officers. So we have to have that conversation. When is the president going to focus on us and do that? He's not doing that. Okay? He's not focused like that. So what else is he focused? He's focused on Greenland now. Greenland. What are you going to do? You're going to bomb it? I think it's smart if you want to acquire Greenland. But you got to be smart about it, man. You got to talk to the Danes and just be like, listen, you don't want to fight over this. We'll offer you something for it. I don't want to hear from the Europeans that they have rights over Greenland. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. The same, and especially the liberals here, don't say anything to me about that. You know, the indigenous people of Greenland, the people that are living there, are not Danes, okay? They're not Danish. So don't start on that. Don't even start. We can have it all in this country, but it starts with the president taking a step back and normalizing the way that we behave. Okay? And he's got to take a step back and focus on the United States and stop showing this ADHD nonsense where you have a squirrel brain and you're looking to the south, you're looking to the north, looking to the west. Focus on building. You were the chief executive officer of Trump International. Build.
Rockefeller, Board of Southern Education Fund, $1 million. Then he creates the board in 1905, owns all the schools, and then absorbed into the General Education Board in 1960s, the foundation. So these families right here own all the school systems. So whoever you learn from, this is who you're learning from. You're getting brainwashed in propaganda rather than thinking outside the box and using critical thinking. So this is a great one, and I always talk about the school system because who owns it? Bankers. Check this. Peabody Educational Fund, 1865. That's actually J.P. Morgan. And look at Southern Educational Fund, 1899, controlling the South. Then you move to George Foster Peabody. He gets connected and goes to John D. Rockefeller. Board of Southern Education Fund, $1 million. Then he creates the board in 1905, owns all the schools, and then absorbed into the General Education Board in 1960s, the foundation. So these families right here.
This is one where I'd say this is the risk you run when you have a country that's a big private corporation. The schools, Prussia had a public school system that was obviously the best in the world because if you look at the geniuses and the thought thinkers, the economists, and the military strategists, and just the composers, all of the brain power and the brain capital that came out of Prussia. It's just unbelievable. Whether all the way up even into the early part of the 20th century, you have people that were born in the late stages of Prussia who contributed. Look, von Braun and Einstein and Marx and Engels and Beethoven. Although I'm not sure if Engels was actually born in Prussia, but whatever. Beethoven and Bach and Kant and Nietzsche and you name it, right? It's just a treasure trove of intelligence, and it can be a wonderful thing. Look at the Chinese now. Look at how they've improved. Their educational system is amazing because they are producing people who can contribute to their society. And if you look at the U.S., the educational system is getting worse. You got kids who can't read and write. It's pathetic. Why are kids in America unable to read and write? That shouldn't be. And then you got this situation again where he's pointing out, like, oh, all these families own. Yeah, because it's a private corporation, man. It's a private corporation. We live in a private corporation. We don't live in a we don't own our currency, we don't own our health care, we don't own the education, we don't own anything. Everything is leased out from a private corporation. The whole country is leased out to private business. The whole country.
Guy, nominated by this guy in 2017. This guy reappointed this guy. I don't know why. Jerome keep wages for workers down with Fed policy. Jerome say economy good for workers is unsustainable. Jerome, not vice presidential candidate for AOC. Jerome, not hero. Jerome, not school walkout worthy guy. Joke funny, sometime, little bit. Jerome make people unemployed lose their home and become homeless. Jerome policies, violent. Jerome job, not boring. Jerome job, not math. Jerome job, Run economy for big business. Jerome make people have less money. People less money. Ooh, people angry. People fear. People susceptible to fascist demagogue takeover. Jerome bad.
All right. I mean, yeah. I see what she's saying. Um Jerome Jerome one of many in a long line. Jerome one of many. His job is not to prop up the economy of the US. That's not constitutional and that's not his job. He works for a private bank. His job is to make money. And the way that they make money is by lending money to the government and printing more money. That's how they make money. If the economy is steady, the Fed can't make money because the US has to pay them back, and these banks own a lot of assets and whatnot. But the economy just being steady is not good. Okay, they need the economy to be dynamic. They need to be up and down and up and down. And Jerome Powell, that's his job, just like it was Alan Greenspan. I mean, Alan Greenspan, people literally would think this guy was a fucking genius. And he didn't know it. I mean, I would say he didn't know anything, but the reality is he did know stuff because he knew what he was doing was stupid. Ben Bernanke, right? There was a great clip of Ben Bernanke being asked by Ron Paul. He said, "Is gold money?" And Ben Bernanke froze. Then he said, "No, it's not." And Paul looked at him and he said, "Wow, so thousands of years of history are flushed because you say that gold is not money, but gold's been money for thousands of years." Why did he say no? Well, he said no because you can't convert dollars to gold, which means that the Fed doesn't hold enough gold to back the amount of dollars it's put into the economy, which means that the dollars that are out in the world aren't worth anything. He admitted that. The chairman of the Federal Reserve admitted that gold is not money. Well, if gold's not money and your dollars are backed by nothing, then what the hell are we holding in our hands? We're just holding IOUs to you in your private bank. So Ben Bernanke is supposed to be the number one banker in the world, basically, and he didn't even know. Either he admitted that he didn't know that gold should be money, or he's purposely lying to try to manipulate the answer, which is also pretty ridiculous. So either way, we got a problem. So China has claims to 4.4 billion barrels of oil. Blah, 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 blah. The U.S. should have nothing to do with that stuff. Let's see what's going on. Poland's right wing president just vetoed a bill that would implement the European Union Censorship Digital Services Act. The state is supposed to guarantee freedom, not restrict it, according to him. Yeah, I remember. I saw that earlier. Look, I mean, I'm not sure how much freedom they believe in because they banned the Communist Party in their own country. So I think they're being a little hypocritical. But certainly, you know, the, Poland's weird because they don't like the EU, they don't trust Russia, they don't trust anybody, they don't like anybody. And I guess I can understand. I mean, Poland sits between Russia and Germany. It was part of Prussia. It was one of the centerpieces of World War II in the build up especially. It was allied with Nazi Germany, then it's allied with the British, then it's allied with the Russians, allied with this, allied with that. I mean, they've always been herky jerked because they sit in the middle. So Poland is weird, but Poland is a little hypocritical because on the one hand, they are fierce defenders of their borders and fierce defenders of their freedom. On the other hand, they don't allow the right of assembly of the Communist Party in their own country. So it's a little all over the place. I guess you could just say they're right wing. That's the way they lean, and that's the only freedom that they care about. Who is this? Knock knock Latita. Who is this? Federal prosecutor launch new probe into New York AG Letitia James involving campaign payments to longtime hairdresser. Hairdresser. Okay. Interesting. Palantir CEO, our country has selective empathy for everybody but working class, particularly white males. Yeah, I don't think this guy has any care for working class white males. He's building the infrastructure to spy on everybody. He's building the infrastructure to subdue everybody into a dystopian digital nightmare. So I'm not sure about his claims to, unless he's just making a statement and he doesn't also care. Did you know Native Americans lost their history? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard not to know that. It's weird that that came up. Um, yeah, this is my dad has always said this is one of the best scenes. This is actually, if you've never seen this scene, if you've never seen this whole scene, this is not the whole scene. This is just a small part of it. If you have not seen this shootout at the end of Heat, this is by far, if this is by far one of the best shootout scenes in any movie I've ever seen. Um, and yeah, I've heard this before that the military actually like really signed off and said this was a great scene. Yeah, you gotta watch it. It's a great movie. Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, really peak acting. It's just an amazing movie. It's not political. It's just a great movie. Yeah, I like sports, wrestling, and video games. By the way, I don't just do politics, but this channel is for that, so that's why I talk about that shit. But yeah, it's not my life. It's just part of my life. Why should I pay my taxes? Somalis steal it, politicians waste it, illegals use it, corrupt Yeah, I mean, look, this is going to be a weird tax season because you really have to wonder like how many people are going to hold back and not want to pay their taxes. I mean, there's always a risk, right? Like you don't want to get in trouble. Most people cooperate, but the system has gotten sloppy. I don't think there's a lot of money by the way to collect. Like, I don't think Americans are doing well. Like, I know a lot of, if you look at the charts, like, there are a lot of people living in nice homes that don't have any money. Like, there's just a lot of people struggling. And you're going to have people that bail out on their life, like, they're going to sell their biggest asset, which is their home, just to get some money. And then you're going to have people that stay in their home and they're going to see the property value decline when there's a crash. And in the long term, it might recoup and everything. That's very possible. But to be honest, like there's just a lot of ways that the American family is gonna get hit pretty badly. Um, and sometimes people root for crashes because they'll say, well, there's a crash, then poor people can buy houses. You really think that's gonna happen? Where are they gonna get the money to even if that let's say a house drops to 200K? Okay, where are they gonna get 20 grand? Where are they going to get 20 grand plus closing fee, all the other shit? Where are they going to get that? You gonna pull it out of their ass? Let's get real here. Now that private equity has zeroed in on real estate, even though the president said, "Nah, I don't want them to do that." All right, well, let's see if you can get that passed. Because in the meantime, in this stage of capitalism, you're seeing it, man. They're just going for everything. Private equity bought hospitals. Uh, they're buying electric companies. They're buying like whole parts of grids. They're buying real estate. They are milking this thing to the bone. So I don't know if there's a crash, if they're not going to be able to just buy up the whole market. Because if you're desperate, if you lost your job and you can't pay a property tax and your house isn't worth that much because of the market, and BlackRock knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I know your house was worth 700, now it's worth 200, 300. We'll give you 350, we'll give you 400. You can walk away with 50 to 100 in cash, pay off your mortgage and have money to go rent from someplace, whatever." There are a lot of families that are going to take that because they're going to be desperate. They're going to be desperate. So this DARPA has an invisible weapon that cooks you alive, and it's already being used on people who can't prove it. The active denial system is real. A silent directed energy. Yeah, I think this is an old video. There was something that came out. I saw this from the Marines, yeah, where they were demonstrating this, and from the reports, um, I think I saw this a while ago. But from the reports from what happened in Venezuela, there are people who were security down there who said that they were like bleeding out of their nose, out of their ears. So it's very possible that this weapon that they're showing you here, that they actually put it into the field and tested it. Ooh, let's see. It could be the greatest comeback in the history of the Middle East. Reza Pahlavi, 65 years old, 47 in exile, declares himself ready to lead Iran as his father's successor in the video. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's exciting for him and for the rich in Iran. But for the average person in Iran, I'm not sure if they would want the Shah's son back. The Shah was brutal on his people. Okay? He was brutal. The reason that the Shah wasn't ousted by the Americans and the British was because he was good for them and he was bad for the people. All right? You wouldn't have had a revolution if Prime Minister or President Mossadegh hadn't been assassinated by the US and the British. They took him out because British Petroleum was losing their full control over the oil assets in Iran because he was nationalizing it. Sound familiar? I guess in modern days he would just end up in New York court. Doge confirms that USA gave Chelsea Clinton $82 million to the Clinton Foundation or Global Initiative, $3 million that was spent on her wedding. Oh yeah, it's possible. I mean, I don't doubt it. I mean, they're a professional grifting family, so I'm sure it's very possible. There's a lot of fraud, and the amount of fraud that's been committed by politicians and the big businesses and all the entities that surround the upper crust of our economy is much larger than what some random Somali migrants commit at a daycare. Now, I'm not excusing their fraud or excusing the fraud at lower levels. I'm not excusing it. It's not good, and it's really actually it's terrible. But there's fraud all up and down. When the Pentagon can't pass an audit, right? And you got missing money all over the place in the government. I mean, we got problems up and down, folks. It's not just one entity. Uh oh. I mean, it's nice. I mean, look, I do think it's normal for people, when you see someone who you really care about, you know, Also, I do think, and maybe this is and hopefully no females get offended by this, but if you think about like as a woman, like when you're roaming around and you get gawked at or whatever, and they have to be very cautious. I'm sure it's like refreshing when they see a male who they actually care about. You know what I mean? Versus like just randoms who are like looking at them because they have to kind of keep a stiff face and be very like careful, so I know this because I mean, whether it was from my dating life and even from being married, whatever, like you're around pretty women, you realize like women are not inherently mean. It's just that they have to have a wall up, because they're out there in the world and they are not as physically strong and they have to worry about, the aggression and the sexual tension and all these. I'm not saying it's every guy, but there's a reality to, like, it's harder for them. They're roaming around in a world that may not always be as friendly to them. So I understand that, like, they get stiffer. And I found that the stiffest women on the exterior were like some of the most beautiful hearts. I really do. This is all personal. This is not analysis. Okay. This is just personal experience. I found a lot of women that are very pretty and, well, all you see that woman who's like well dressed and she's her hair done. She looks all cute, but she's kind of stiff looking, whatever. You know, a lot of those women, they just protecting themselves from the bad seeds, unfortunately. And when they see the good one that they actually handpick, that they love, they light up a little bit. I think that's cool. And we do it too. Well, guys are a little bit more carefree because, I mean, you're more worried about other guys than you are worried about, like, women. I'm not thinking about, like, women sexually assaulting me or anything like that. I'm walking the streets. I'm more concerned about, what the hell else is going on, right? How is the U.S. going to help another country when it can't even help its own people? Stop falling for this propaganda. When the U.S. government says it's going to offer up help, it means it's, yeah, they're not doing it. The U.S., they're not helping anybody. They're not helping anybody. It's a joke. On the eve of the implementation of the 15th five-year plan to achieve the crucial leap for the Chinese economy, Xi Jinping demands stricter administration by the Communist Party to combat corruption and confine power to an institutional structure. It is well remembered that in 2025, 65 high-ranking officials from the central administration and 9 generals were investigated and punished for corruption. Today, at the session of the 20th Central Commission for Discipline Inspection of the CPC, Xi calls for higher standards and more concrete measures in the party's self-governance. All are equal before the law and regulations. Compliance with them admits no privileges, and application of the law and regulations allows no exceptions. You think he's just talking here, folks? The leader of China, the general secretary of the Communist Party, and the president of China, they have executed people for corruption. The U.S. doesn't even have one person that has testified or had to defend themselves or even give testimony about what the hell happened on those Epstein tapes. And this guy over here, they will execute you for corruption. You think they're just talking? China is a serious country with a serious government and a serious leader. And they haven't bombed one person. They haven't killed one of their own citizens for, questioning why there are federal troops on the streets. Their federal troops aren't going around beating people up. I mean, I'm sorry, like, when I compare their government to ours, this country is just a joke compared to theirs. It really is. It's a joke. What the hell does the U.S. do better than China besides covert ops? President Xi is a serious leader in this world, and they do more for their people than anyone in the United States. Anyone. That includes the president. That includes the Congress. You think they have a Lindsey Graham in China? You think Lindsey Graham would last 2 seconds? These people in China know more about our Constitution than Lindsey Graham. Okay? There is no comparison between China and the United States. No comparison. None. That's why I would love to live there. I would love it. I have to convince my wife, but I would love it. This country is a joke compared to that country. And I'm not talking about the people are subjected to it. So before you get your panties in a bunch and you start telling me, oh, America, go move to China. Oh, America so great. Yeah, you remember that. You remember that when you get your electric bill. You remember that when the factory that your father worked at is closed. You remember that when you see that the government has money to go bomb Venezuela, they don't have a penny for you. They don't have a penny to fix the roads, the bridges, the tunnels, that we still use the same energy source from 50, 60, 100 years ago. We're not building a replica of the sun. We don't have drone delivery of food. We have brownouts here. You think they have brownouts over there? We have fucking oil in the ground. China doesn't have nearly enough oil to power itself. They don't have any brownouts. And before you say, "Wow, we have no, we don't have more people. We have 300 million people here. They got 1.4 billion. They have like 50 cities in China that have over 1 million people. They have more cities that have more people living in New York than New York City has in its population. We have what? 3 cities that have more than 5 million people? What 3? Chicago, New York, LA? And LA is not a city. LA is a sprawling suburb. There is no comparison. None. And part of it, not all of it, but part of it is being rooted in Marxism, Leninism. But another part of it is the fact that their culture, their base rooted culture, is collectively conservative and is able to focus on themselves. And our culture is all over the place. Our culture is single mothers waiting for welfare. Our culture is as people don't even want to have children. Our culture is being 55 and living like you're a 4-year-old child. It's a joke. North Korea is doing amazing things. I know, just look at shoes, whatever that he's designed. I mean, let's be honest, man. I don't think people understand the Kim Jong Un, and I hope he gets this message. I don't think he will, right? I don't think he will, but I hope he gets this message. A lot of people in the West understand why he doesn't want us there. I know he wants nothing to do with me. I know he doesn't like me. He doesn't know me. He doesn't care about me. But a lot of people in the West are looking at North Korea. Okay, they're looking at North Korea and they're saying, you know what? This country, this leader is building. And I look at all the projects they have, and I have to ask myself, why don't we make our own phones here? Why don't we design our own anything here? Okay? Why do we have to have everything manufactured overseas? We have the advantage. We have oil. We don't need to import plastic, but we do. We don't need to manufacture everywhere else, but we do. North Korea is building. They're building cities. They can't even import fertilizer. And they're still feeding their people, and it's cheaper than our food. You got to ask, why don't we have leaders like this? So I hope you're out there, Mr. Kim Jong Un, comrade. I hope you hear this and hear it clear. There are Western people living here that wish that we had leaders like you, that wish that we had people that put their thought and care into their government, into their people. This is a country that's rising. And I'll tell you something else. They don't have if you look at the birth rates in South Korea, it's just a matter of time before unification happens, one way or the other. Let's see. Communism will win. Gen Z holding favorable view of what? 62% socialism, 34%. It's interesting that they separate these things because I don't think most people know the difference. So socialism is the stage in the system that's supposed to evolve out of capitalism, and it's the stage leading you to communism. So technically, no one has ever achieved communism. But the socialism is a system that you use to lead to communism. And it's supposed to be the evolution. Just like capitalism is an evolution from feudalism. Feudalism is an evolution from slavery. Okay? So communism is an evolution from socialism. So I'm sure a lot of people have never read any Marx, any Engels, never don't know Lenin, don't even know Stalin or Mao, and don't even know President Xi. I mean, if you don't, take a look, because you'd find these numbers will spike. They would be 90% if people knew what it was. Just think of it this way, folks. All right. And I know I joined the Center for Political Innovation. Okay. I joined it because I really like the leader. I like what they say. I like the people. But let me just point something out. If we were allowed to learn what it was, what communism actually was, it's just like everything else in life. You're lied to. Okay? You're not told the truth about any of these things. Right? You're lied to. So if you think about, you're lied to about Epstein, you're lied to about Kennedy, you're lied to about whatever, why do you think they're telling you the truth about capitalism? Why do you listen to Western professors and all these people tell you how terrible communism is? It's not. It's not. You've been lied to. You've been lied to about everything. And I will expose those lies here, because somebody has to do it. And I'm fucking tired of it. I am tired of sitting here and listening to people lie and know that they're full of shit. I'm not doing it anymore. The number of employed Americans aged 65 and over rose by more than 33% since 2015. Right. People just can't afford to retire. I mean, yeah. There's no retirement. People my age don't even think retirement's not even a thought in their mind. Indonesia, called developing country. This is the night view of during Japan's lost 30 years. Indonesia will, yeah, I mean it has to recover from our meddling, but yeah, it's the future's in Asia, folks. Future's in Asia. I mean, I don't know how much more obvious that can be. The future's in Asia. Sorry. Life in America for the middle class. Guy's mortgage payment almost doubles in 2 years after home purchase thanks to rising property taxes as his home value rises. Car insurance also surged. Now he has a roommate. Jesus Christ. This fucking disgrace. This country's a disgrace. It really is. Not mad at the people. All right, guys. I will resume this maybe tomorrow night, probably 2 days from now. I'm going to be in office the next couple days, so I won't have as much time. But as always, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Please check out more on my channel. I put out some other content earlier today. Check out the Center for Political Innovation. Check us out on X. I'm on TikTok now. And obviously, I have a lot of videos on YouTube, tons of stuff to go through, tons of rants, tons of analysis. And, I'll continue to do this as much as I can. I'm also going to do some X spaces, some live spaces, so we can get at it. Let's debate, let's argue, let's laugh, let's cry, let's do the whole thing. Let's show people what we're about. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoy this, and feel free to message me, put stuff in the chat on anything you want me to talk about.